Alright, I just hope that my finance man carries me to safety from this huge ass flood hitting us. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of mine. This time I'm back with Heaven's Secret Requiem Season 2 Episode 6. Y'all, my voice is still completely done for actually recording 4 hours straight yesterday. So I am trying my best, like at least it's not that heavy, but it's just a little bit painful for me to talk, or let's just say to talk loudly, fangirling as I usually do. So it will be a little more calmer this episode, or at least I will be forced to do so. But we all know me, I won't really care, but just so you know. Everything for y'all. But let's see. If I remember correctly, a flood is hitting the boat that we're forced to be in order to get the book back from Nick. And let's see what happens. Arriving at the city that became the sea. Oh god, is the flood that high that it actually covers the entire city? Episode 6. Hell is other human. And I actually need to find out what? This episode contains reference to cannibalism and infanticide. Oh, why do they have to be like this? Honestly, I need to understand what last episode was all about. There is no way in hell that they are telling me that Boris is alive. Oh, we survived. We were Hold up. If we actually have like a wet look, then please tell me that also my finance man has a wet look. Thank you, Jesus. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Jesus. Hush. Don't rush to talk. Are you okay? Now that I see you wet, yes. I coughed and rubbed my reddened eyes. The salt water I'd inhaled was burning my throat. Enormous platforms towered overhead. They were connected by narrow concrete bridges that the high waves were crashing against. Streams of water were also pouring from the upper floors of the structure onto the lower tiers. It all looked like a huge iron waterfall. Sometimes the structure swayed and its tall pipes creaked as if they were about to crack or break. The names of the platform's different sectors were almost washed away. Imposing cranes rose and disappeared into the fog. Rusty sheet metal covered everything. They were on the rig floor, which encased a tall concrete building and served a roofing for numerous passages. Clusters of frail outbuildings held together by flimsy supports howled and creaked in the wind. They swayed but continued to stand despite the raging elements. The sound of the wind was sometimes drowned out by the sharp, deafening impact of some huge wave hitting the platform. Fog devoured everything and distorted the rumble of the churning sea, making it sound like a roar. Everything felt ominous. It was like there was something in the mist or on the platform, something bigger than us. As if the fog was hiding that place for a reason. CAIN took my hands in his and rubbed them together, warming them. This man is like just everything I need. He's everything I need in life. Like, he's this bitch-ass man, like, being extremely closed off, but the second that he cares about you, he will give you the world. Oh, my man. Water dripped from his hair and clothes, but he didn't care. Y'all, if they would have given me a picture of that, I would have actually sent it to heaven. Like, come on now. At least, but I mean, technically I still got something that I wanted. Like, if this man wasn't capable to get us out there like Prince Charming, like him being a knight in shining armor, then at least we're both wet now. And not just our entire clothes, but also, our body parts. Our very intimate body parts. If I'm wet, you get a hard on too. Like, this is not a one-way street. Where are the others?
Still on the water.
I didn't have time to get them. First, I wanted to make sure. So he did kind of still saved us. Like, we were flooded. Oh, this is completely different. This man actually held on to us and actually flew us up. The others were swept away. He wasn't fast enough to, like, immediately get us out of there without us actually swallowing water, but he still saved us. Like, the second he realized that there was this huge ass wave coming, he prepared himself for the impact, and he immediately went out of his way, like, to look for us and to save us. Like, we were the first person on his mind. I love this. In love with him. He wanted to make sure that we're alive. CAIN hesitated as if it was hard for him to say his next words. There are people that aren't good with words. That's fine. Son, I'm good with words for the both of us. To make sure that you were definitely okay. Oh. And I mean, technically, y'all, I am the reason that this man feels that he can't talk. I mean, it's his personality. We figured already. But considering the fact I keep on playing these huge ass slot options, no wonder that this man would feel reluctant. Like, if this was real life, of course he would feel reluctant to actually open up to us and actually get out of the state of denial and saying, yeah, I wanted to make sure that you were still alive. I wanted to make sure you're okay. Like, you're the first thing I thought about when I saw this huge ass danger hitting me. I could have cared less about myself. I wanted to make sure that you're alive, that you're well, and then I would care about myself and other people. In love with this man, and if I'm not mistaken, he's blushing a little bit. Looking at the water and the thickening fog above it, he stood up. I saw that he was swaying. It seemed he didn't handle any kind of rocking well, be it on a train or a ship. Oh God, is it bringing back awful memories to when the fight happened with the Mother of Life? I'll be quick. Wait for me here, and don't do anything. Once I saw him at full height, my eyes was caught by the change in CAIN's figure. Where are your wings? Don't worry, I just concealed them. I don't want to attract attention. Babe, you look fine as fuck with or without them. You look fine with or without them. But you know what? That's a different question. Like, this happened in Heaven's Secret too. Like, the second that the angels would, like, get on Earth, they would, like, get a different appearance. And the wings would be invisible. Now, one thing. Is this the real appearance of CAIN? Like, is this the fine-ass man that we see in front of us? Is this actually his real face? Or is this concealed or something? But now that I think about it, no human being could ever reach this kind of hotness. So never mind that. But when angels or demons conceal their wings, can they themselves still see them or not? It's supposed to be concealed in front of humans. And we're humans, so of course we don't see the wings. But can he still see his wings? I don't know. I didn't know you could do that. I don't like doing it. That was an exception. Look at this fine-ass man. Please keep your hair like this. It's extremely attractive. He walked to the edge of the platform and jumped down easily. I actually would have been greedy. I would have been like, bitch, where the fuck you think you're going? Like, we finished what you started. Sorry. I hobbled awkwardly to where CAIN had just stood and looked down. He disappeared into the water. Me too, sis. Me too. Like, the fuck what you think you're doing? Far below, the waves crashed against massive concrete piles. The wind was so strong it could easily knock someone off their feet. Honestly, I'm pretty sure he's gonna save Greg last. So sorry. The sinking ship was visible through the fog. It was broken in half and had almost completely sunk beneath the water. I watched how the waves mercilessly threw survivors in different directions as they surfaced, trying to grab onto small debris to stay afloat. The waves pushed them closer to the platform, and they attempted to reach the rope thrown from it. Suddenly, I heard unfamiliar voices from behind the tall containers I was sitting by. I think I saw something behind the containers. You're talking about that again. You're brain dead from hunger. There's no one there. Did they notice me? Something? Slowly crawl back. They did say cannibalism. No, thank you. Carefully returning to my place, I was relieved to hear the workers continue talking. If you keep mentioning her, I'll send you after her myself. Yes, please, anything, just so I don't have to hear that singing. What? Oh, wait! Hold up! Are we actually getting into that too? Like, I don't think we had that in Heaven's Secret, but sirens are a thing in the supernatural world. They are men, from at least the pictures that are being displayed in front of us right now. Sailors. In the history, sirens would actually attract sailors with their voice to make them commit suicide or something, like, you know. As the death itself is calling. You got a good earful. Do you believe every crackpot? There is no delivery here. The ones who disappeared, they went crazy and jumped in the water, I swear. My apologies. And you watch yourself, you're already 1 foot in the grave. It's no wonder you're the only one who keeps seeing her. You are the closest to her. That's why your conscience is bothering you. Can humans turn into mermaids? Do they need to be bitten or something? It's been half a year since that moment and 7 have disappeared. What's up with all this sniveling? Stop whining and let go. Help the others. All you know how to do is talk. The voices gradually faded away and I finally relaxed. I wonder what exactly they were talking about. Are you dumb? Have you never read, fantasy? A few more minutes passed before CAIN returned with Ania and Pylon. My apologies. I'm sorry. Of course I want Greg alive because he's my other bitch, but... Oh, and Jan, of course. But the others, no one of importance. Boris is not there either, so no one of importance. Bye. The immortals are the ones I'm here for, sort of. And a couple of trips, the immortals pulled the rest out of the water. Ugh. So sorry. They could have let them stay down there. Greg, yes. The others, no. Every squad member was soaked and tried to warm up a little. We didn't know yet what to do next. Noah was the first to speak. It would have been better if Donovan had given us the entire ship. At least we wouldn't have to depend on some idiots. Amen, my good sis. There's no point in talking about it now. Besides, none of us know anything about ships. Does anyone have a weapon? Did they go onto that damn ship without any sort of weapon? Are you dumb? You especially as a general. The pistols were waterlogged and useless for a while, but almost everyone had a knife with themselves. At least that's something. You have the fucking audacity to complain. I don't see you having a weapon. Wring out your clothes, but try not to make too much noise until we figure out what kind of people are here. We won't give ourselves away. Turning away from one another, the squad began to undress. Ooh. Can I see a specific immortal undress? Is that a choice? I would be very grateful. I am not a psycho, I promise. Y'all, I just want to have some sexy time with my man. That's not too much to ask for, is it? The immortals decided to wring their clothes out too for their own comfort. So sorry. When I finished, my soaked tracksuit was now less clammy against my body. I looked at Anna, who was wringing out her hair beside me. Oh, I can choose it? Nah, I like this hairstyle. Simona, isn't this your backpack? You left it in the cabin. How did it end up here? What's office next to me? Isn't that where the work on the book is? I hope something survived at last. Well, we shall see. Nodding gratefully, I looked inside. My things! It's amazing it was found in this mess. Throwing my backpack over my shoulder, I looked at the rest of the squad. Everyone was waiting for further orders from the general. The people from the platform sent a signal for help, and now they themselves are rescuing the crew from the water. Something doesn't add up. And I don't like this fog. When we find the boats, we'll need to know what direction to go. Dimitri looked at the immortals. Of course. I'm sorry. I just feel the need to point it out. I fucking hate the fact that they're using the immortals as some sort of scapegoat or some bullshit. They need to do all the heavy lifting while they just, I don't know, just sit down and watch the immortals do the heavy lifting. This is not justice. This is unjust. Ania's wound had recently opened, and CAIN was swaying imperceptibly from the onset of weakness. My man! Pylon, how long can you stay in the air without stopping? How much easier it would be if people had just invented wings for themselves. If you need to find a way out of the fog, I'll do it. The demon jumped almost silently into the water. He didn't come up, but ripples began to move across the surface, heading into the fog. Soon they disappeared, and there was a splash. Pylon emerged and took off. It would have been too dangerous to simply take off from the platform with his bright wings. I suddenly remembered something. The doctor and Hans were with us in the hall. Where did they go? The answer came very quickly. Noise came from behind the containers as several dozen people were talking loudly all of a sudden. The best asked is what was happening. We needed to see the entire platform and figure out the condition of the sectors, how many workers there were, and whether they had weapons. In the end, we found nothing better than to hoist a few people up and cautiously spy from behind the containers. Realizing that it would be easier to lift the women, the men stood by the iron wall ready to help us climb up. Y'all, I don't know what to feel about this. I mean, in reality, it is true, but still. I just want justice. Men doing some heavy lifting, fine, but the women can do some shit too. I should go to I am so fucking weak. CAIN, Dimitri, Greg, Jan, Noah, and Lester. We can still play with their fucking heartstrings. It's season 2, episode 6, y'all. And there is still no relationship. Even in Heaven's Secret 2, we would have more fucking action than anyone else. In the first episode, I think it was episode 6, that was my most watched video of Heaven's Secret 2. We had the kiss with Malbonte. And in season 2, episode, I think 8, maybe? We were having sex with that man. What the fuck are you trying to tell me here? CAIN. Hold on to me. You don't have to ask me twice. All the time. Y'all, have we seen this man's hair? I just want to run my hair. I just want to run my hand through it. Please. Goddamn. This man rubs me in all kinds of ways. CAIN gently grabbed me by the waist and lifted me up. Thank you, Daddy. He placed me on one of his shoulders and squeezed my hip to prevent me from falling. You should have grabbed my ass cheek. So sorry. I'm greedy today. You feel much lighter than my wings. Amazing. You're welcome. Your relationship with CAIN has improved. Thank you. I mean, after all, I did sort of fucked up when I had this romantic option with Greg that one episode. I missed a beautiful moment with CAIN. So now I'm taking all the possibilities with CAIN. I looked beyond the container. There was a crowd of wet, exhausted soldiers from our ship standing on the platform. One of the workers was reeling in the rope that people had used to get up to the platform. Oh my god. It seems like they were the last ones. Look around. Are you sure we got everyone out? Maybe someone else needs help. A man I knew made his way through the crowd to the center. The old engineer walked behind him. Oh, he fine.
Not everyone is here. There must be more people missing. How many people? Well, an entire lead squad with the guard dogs.
Can we push him overboard? I'm begging you.
The ones?
The platform worker reached behind him as if he wanted to get something, but a man in a 4-man's uniform stopped him.
Too early. Don't take it out.
And Nia became wary.
They have weapons against immortals, at least 2 of them.
She is so pretty again. But I feel so bad for her wound and everything. Like, we just hear her, like, having a wound that keeps on ripping open.
They certainly don't look defenseless. Let's be careful.
I listened to what was happening on the platform again.
Who are you?
No one important.
A doctor.
Duh.
Great, you're useful. Then we'll take you.
Bye. The 4 men nodded and a couple of workers pointed homemade weapons at him.
What is this? You're a hostage. If someone decides to play rescuer, your valuable head will be the first to fly.
Wow.
Now they've shown their...
Oh, that's a good sentence. That's a good one. Y'all, I always get like this huge ass a throbbing in my chest when I see this man appear on my screen. I always have this beautiful sort of headache.
Should I kill them?
Oh, for fuck's sake, babe. Stop it with the fucking killing. But I mean, at least he's keeping it real. He's like, should I just get rid of them? Like, bye. I mean, I did say that Greg should have pushed, or more like we, or characters, should have pushed those 3 bitches overboard. They would have been killed. They would have drowned.
Should I kill them? They won't even have time to read.
That's my man. That's my fine-ass man.
No, it's a risk for the hostage and the others, and besides, they have weapons against you. We'll just watch.
Really now? The rest of the ship's crew was surrounded by workers who looked more like wild martyrs.
Look, everyone in the cells.
Excuse you?
And search the platform. The rest couldn't have vanished into thin air.
What the fuck? After that, Kira, Anna, and Nia and I instinctively dug as if we might be new. And the man literally just standing behind us, I guess. That's funny.
Too soon. Watch where they take the crew and the doctor.
The crew was taken somewhere down below. I lost sight of the doctor almost immediately. The martyrs shielded him with their backs. Once back down on the platform, Anna and Kira told the squad things I haven't even paid attention to, like how many guards there were and where they were stationed, the weapons and who was subordinate to whom. After listening attentively to the report, the general thought about it. Greg, who was a little more expressed, cursed.
Damn, what a terrible situation.
Everyone remained silent. They all agreed with Greg.
Let's find the doctor and get rid of the martyrs quietly, one by one.
Let my fine-ass man take care of it. He already offered. I'm gonna get rid of all of their asses.
The platform is huge. How will we know exactly where to look for him?
I just love that gaze of his. He's like, bitch, how stupid are you?
Actually, it's pretty simple. Yes, it's not that hard to look into people's minds. It's hard to hide your intentions or not cause panic because you need direct eye contact for this. I'll do it. I have better chance of getting there unnoticed than you do.
CAIN shrugged. He's like, bitch, if that's all I care. He doesn't look very good. Can we rely on him now, when he's in such a state? No! Baby, what can I do to make you feel better? Do I need to rub you? You know, you all know what I'm talking about when I say that, right? I feel like he's been over-exaggerating himself. Like running from left to right, always doing everything for the squad. He didn't take a break. Like, it would be exhausting, and sooner or later it shows.
How long have you been able to do this? If you're worried about the safety of your dirty thoughts, no worry. We don't care about
Hold the fucking phone so he can read my fucking oh god damn it. Oh god. Okay.
more about why we were racking our brains over who was behind everything that was happening in Rotkov.
It's more complicated with those connected to the cult. Their minds are tangled and hard to penetrate. I looked at CAIN. He can penetrate me anytime he wants. I mean, like, my mind is open. Read all the dirty thoughts in my head as you want. I'm sure they will be much more of a turn on than if you have dirty thoughts with Dimitri. Sorry. Did he read my thoughts? Did he read my thoughts? Did he look into my soul? And why didn't he ever mention he was capable of such a thing? I mean, it's interesting. I don't think anyone ever said something about that in Heaven's Secret. Noticing my gaze, CAIN raised an eyebrow and shook his head. He understood. He said, no, I have too much respect for you. Apparently, rummaging through someone's head was beneath him. Or rummaging through mine, at least. Ooh. Honestly, I think this is kind of cute because it shows the respect he has for us. He's like, yes, I can do it, but I have enough control to decide whether I want to do it or not. And you sure as hell are not the woman that I want to have her thoughts penetrated by me. Like, I don't want to actually invade your privacy because the thoughts you have are private, not for me. And I'm pretty sure he's old enough to the point where he can actually understand if someone is turned on by him or not. So it would be a little useless. This ability can be used for harm. It's convenient. It is really convenient. I would love to use it. I would use it on him every time because this bitch is like a closed book and I just want to find ways to break this man's defenses. Convenient. The knowledge you can gain be manipulated. The knowledge you gain can be manipulated or used to make someone feel guilty. Learning things a person would never tell you themselves. We want to dig through CAIN's mind. I just know it.
How close do you have to be to a person?
The distance can vary. The hard part is that the person has to look at me the whole time.
It's dangerous. If you're spotted, there could be a ruckus.
I've no desire to linger here, just as I don't want to get shot with the serum, so you'll have to trust me. Dimitri and Greg exchanged glances. The general nodded to the angel. She carefully climbed over the containers and then hid behind some tanks. And Nia waited for about an hour. She understood that she couldn't afford to make a mistake. So she wanted to find a person who wouldn't be missed, someone who would come close on their own. Sometimes mortars passed by, tasked with inspecting the platform. Each time it felt like they would spot Ania, but she always managed to blend in with the surroundings. And we're just watching her like, I don't know, she's some sort of freak show, and we're just like, I don't know, watching her from afar. Finally, one of them approached the tank she was hiding behind in order to relieve himself. Before he had time to unzip his fly, Ania fixed her gaze on him, and he froze, his hands hanging down. His lips moved slowly but soon stilled. Ooh, the way her eyes glow. For a while, they both went into a trance. After getting the necessary information, Ania hit the man's forehead against the container and he collapsed. Damn! She waited then, making sure no one was looking for the martyr before she carefully returned. The doctor is on the upper floors. He's held in one of the chief's office, but he's moved often. We'll need to examine every single one. The general nodded.
We'll have to split up. Someone must free the crew, and the rest will go with me to the upper floors. If it's an office, then documentation should also be stored there. We need the blueprint of the platform. There should be lifeboats here. We need to find them, and we'll be able to get away.
Okay, can someone explain to me why they need prisoners, and what are they doing on this platform? Maybe they've gone crazy. This is a strange place. For some reason it gives me goosebumps, and the smell here is kind of unpleasant.
Let's not get excited. We're surrounded by water, almost trapped. Our minds might start playing tricks on us. Now if it's important to pull ourselves together and act, we'll think and whine after we get
That's a good one.
We'll think and whine after we get out of this mess.
Each soldier straightened up after the general's speech. They seemed to shake themselves, throwing aside unnecessary thoughts.
Let's split up like this. Simona, CAIN, Anna, Jan, and Noah will go with me.
Oh, God. Two people I like. Okay, fine. Noah is not that unpleasant, but still, couldn't we do two groups and we can choose which one we want to go with? This man always wants to get us on his ass. We always need to be on this man's ass. The author, again, desperate.
Greg, Kira, Nia, and Lester, you make your way to where the crew was locked up and open the cells. We'll get in position, we'll wait to move at night. Visibility will be worse, there will be fewer people and their search will be slowed down a bit. Everything clear to everyone?
Each squad member nodded. We had to get out alive. The ones meant to free the prisoners left the shelter first. The martyrs were patrolling the entire area, making it almost impossible to hide. Everyone had to be cautious. Greg took commando of that group. It makes sense why no one asked any questions. When they were out of sight, Dimitri turned to us.
Look, there's a residential complex here. It's several stories high and with windows. A lattice wall and a staircase. There are a couple of trash bins at the base. People don't walk there, which means if we climb along it, we shouldn't be noticed.
General, we're not climbers. What if we fall and fail? My hands are shaking as it is.
Like I said, there's a wire lattice. It's pretty easy to crawl along, and we'll always be close to each other.
Sitting and waiting could be even more dangerous. It's better to try something, even though I'm not thrilled about what's coming either.
Let's go.
Whatever you say, bitch. It was easy enough to reach the wire that was attached to the concrete slabs of the high-rise. It was much more difficult to get to the top unnoticed. Climbing onto it, we slowly began to crawl up. When we heard footsteps on the stairs, we stopped talking and pressed ourselves against the wall. The higher I climbed, the more scared I was to look down. My hands hurt from the cold and rusty metal. It's so slippery, so easy to fall down. Pull the sleeve off your sweater over your fingers. Pulling my sleeves tighter, I noticed that the wire wasn't cutting into my hands as easily now. It immediately became easier to climb. CAIN, Dimitri, and Jan got the highest. They were checking the floors and testing the strength of the wire. Sometimes we had to crawl around poorly attached spots using windows and windowsills. At such moments, CAIN tried to make sure everyone was safe, but the knowledge we could fall had a sobering effect. We couldn't afford to make mistakes and so paid close attention to our every action. This man being a menace, this man just immediately with one flap of wings is immediately on top. We did get a nice little taste of Dino, practicing, one flap of wings, and he was, 20 meters up in the air. Noah and Anna were last in our line, and I was somewhere in the middle. Soon CAIN and Jan reached the last floor and signaled for us to wait while they checked whether it was safe for the rest to continue up.
We'll still have about 2 floors left. Be patient.
I'm barely holding on, and wet clothes make it even harder to move my legs. As if echoing my thoughts, Anna cursed from below. Damn jeans. I stopped to look at her. There was a hole in the lattice, and the sharp teeth of the wire caught on the edge of Anna's pants, preventing her from pulling her leg out. I'm stuck. She tried to unhook the jeans, but nothing worked.
What's wrong?
Anna has a problem. Trying to get free but losing strength and patience, Anna jerked her leg toward herself. At the same time, a wave crashed against the wire, making it creak and hit the wall loudly. Oh gosh, you're gonna fall. Immediately, there were footsteps on the stairs. Someone was rushing to look over the edge at the back of the building where we were hanging. Seeing that Anna couldn't handle it on her own, Noah approached and tried to help pull out her pants. It didn't work. The fabric was stuck on the wire. It'll take time to get it out. By the time that it gets out, it will be easier for me to just let myself go and fall into the water. The voices were even closer. Noah whispered quickly, we need to distract them with something. There is no other way out. In a couple of moves, Noah reached the stairs and grabbed the railing. Before climbing over, he sighed heavily and whispered,
Oh, I hate being a hero.
Oh, you love being the hero.
Noah, stop.
Noah jumped down and ran away. The martyrs ran after him. The fuck?
Stop, there's no escape. We'll catch up, you bastard.
Without wasting time, I carefully went down to Anna. She appeared confused. Perhaps she was ashamed that he'd risk himself because of her. I pulled her pant leg toward me, and the grunting started rippling again. Dimitri, Jan, and CAIN had already climbed up and were extending their hands to help us reach them.
Yes, I'm telling you, I definitely heard something. It was near the grunting, not the stairs.
The footsteps were very close. Another second and they would see us. Anna and I didn't have time to climb up. Will we have to fight the martyrs? Suddenly a melodic voice reached us. Its song sounded like a lullaby, being hummed softly and reverently. It was impossible to It was impossible to discern where it was coming from.
Damn it, don't tell me I'm the one who hears it again. There's the tune she sang to him, I remember. So now she's coming for you. Are you scared? Don't you believe me? Maybe she cursed us.
Nah, that's a siren.
Don't talk nonsense. The voice is coming from the cafeteria. Let's go check out what kind of birdie is singing.
The footsteps began to fade away and the voice began to die down. Taking advantage of the moment, Anna and I climbed up to the top floor. She's always creating such bitch-ass problems. Whatever it was, I have a feeling it wanted to help us. Finally, the wall climbing was over. We reached the very top of the platform. We caught our breath. I looked at my red palms and stinging fingers.
Where's the annoying one?
Damn, he saved her. And I looked down.
No distracted the martyrs. Don't think about it. Let's move on according to plan.
The general approached Anna and put his hand on her shoulder.
You know him. He'd never do anything stupid. Everything will be fine.
Dimitri's confident in Anna. He supported her. Yay? We climbed down onto the roof of a lower building and looked around. There were numerous anxious and tangled passages. It looked like a sprawling slum market. I'm sorry. I think it's hilarious that he literally, the only thing that CAIN could say was, where's the annoying one? We needed to get farther, but the martyrs were still somewhere near the dwellings. Why are we even hiding? Like, let the immortals just use their powers. They have powers. They don't immediately need to use, like, their wings or something. Like, just use your angel powers. Like, send a nice little white light into their face. Knock them out. While we were waiting, I looked at the dejected Anna. Her leg was bleeding. The wire had not only dug into the fabric, but also tore up her skin badly. She tried to walk normally. Apparently, she didn't want anyone to notice. Should I pretend I didn't see anything? But Anna would definitely take care of me. The fuck? No, she wouldn't. Y'all, the author is being fucking pathetic. She really is. Or he really is. I don't know if it's a her or a him. Like the way that they are actually still trying to force Dimitri and Anna on our faces. Ugh. But you know what? I'm not a bitch ass like you. Oh, or should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? She's a weak bitch. If I would be like, pretend not to notice, she will still notice. So, well, there's that. Help, Anna, but you sure as hell cannot expect me to waste one single word on you. Anna, wait, you're bleeding. You think?
What? Oh, it's nothing.
Let me bandage your wound. I had to make Anna sit. She reluctantly perched on a bent pipe and looked away. After examining her leg, I tore off a piece of fabric from her clothes and carefully wrapped it around the cuts on her skin, period. Not my clothes, yours.
You shouldn't have.
I really shouldn't have. But in comparison to your sorry ass, I care.
But thank you.
You're welcome. Anna was always there when others needed it. Even if a person irritated her, she never hesitated to help. In my opinion, it was the right thing to do, repaying her in kind. Anna carefully stood on her injured leg and stretched. It seemed to be easier for her to walk. Your friendship with Anna has improved. There is no fucking friendship. Just like everyone being like, your relationship with Dimitri has improved. What kind of relationship? Having assessed the situation and the number of people on that floor, Jan turned to us. I think everyone will agree that we need a second hero who will distract the remaining of martyrs. Otherwise, we won't be able to get to the offices. I'll volunteer. I'm a fast runner. Again. Same. Why don't I just kill them more? Hit them so they pass out for a long time. I'm in for it. Dimitri fell silent, thinking about something. He nodded quietly.
Let's pretend that there are only a few of us and that we're scattered. That way the martyrs won't expect anything from us. With your strength, they will definitely know not to underestimate us.
If you think so.
So Jan will take on the martyrs and we will inspect everything inside.
I mean, it's fine by me. My finest man is still by my side.
Let's lie low and then get started when it gets darker. No sooner.
There was still a chance that someone might be inside, but everyone was trying not to think about it at that moment.
I'll take them to the lower floors and then come back. I think that's enough time for you to take cover inside.
Dimitri nodded, and Jan exhaled. Going to the enemy without a weapon was extremely risky, and he knew it.
Don't be so overconfident. It's written all over your face. I've told you 100 times that long legs can let you down, so think with your head and don't rely on luck alone.
I always knew you were jealous, General. Give me. The shade he's throwing at him is very, very nice. That way I don't have to say anything. Jan easily jumped off the roof and immediately ran to the stairs.
Another one, where did he come from?
From your nightmares.
Hurry, he's running away, catch him.
Several on-duty martyrs on that floor ran after Jan. Soon they disappeared from sight and it became quite below us. Making sure there were no guards left at the office, we quietly went down. Crouching low, we approached the windows. CAIN and Dimitri looked inside. The rooms were empty.
Quickly, let's go in and examine all the rooms. There should be a blueprint and a hostage around here somewhere. Just be careful and remember our plan.
Getting inside an office, I looked around. I tried to remember the location of the door and windows and also found a place where I could hide if necessary. There were lockers along the walls. After opening several, I found one where I could hide behind some clothes. There wasn't much room, but more than enough for me. The others went farther. We needed to examine everything, and we could inspect the rooms in groups. Approaching a desk, I carefully began looking over the papers lying on it. Almost all of them were damp due to the high humidity, but something could still be made out of them. Drawings of the drilling racks, maps of the plume. I think there should be a map of the platform somewhere around here. As I began to clear away the clutter on the desk, I noticed a radio with the familiar Siberia logo on it. How did that get here? Donovan's recent speech immediately popped into my head. She had already sent a ship here. It never made contact. Were they really here? And if so, what happened to them? Were they able to get out or what? Oh God, I keep on thinking back on what the introduction of this episode said. Cannibalism. They were eaten here by those martyrs. Damn. I looked around the room again. My imagination was conjuring the most dire pictures of what had happened, and in none of them was the first crew alive. Suddenly I heard heavy footsteps behind the door. The sound sent shivers down my spine. It was someone massive, heavy, and at the same time agile. Leaving everything on the desk as it was, I rushed to the locker. As soon as I was hidden, the office door opened and the martyrs slinked in. What? Where are the others? Were we the only ones that went in? He had a huge Asuni figure with jagged scars all over his body and crazed tiny eyes that darted around the room wildly searching for prey. He sniffed the air as if he had caught a whiff of something foreign. He took a step forward, stopped and coldly surveyed the office. His eyes lingered on the desk and the papers. Did you notice they were touched?
Huh?
He walked on. I felt my palms sweating. I had no doubt it would be discovered. My faith in my own luck was too low. Me! I huddled deeper, pressing against the back wall of the locker. There was a gap between its doors. If he got close enough, it would be visible. Oh my fucking god. As if sensing my fear, the martyr walked to the center of the office, closing the distance between us. He quickly turned his head to the desk. I had a couple of seconds to react. I should close the door, close the gap. Quietly close the door. I stopped breathing in order to hear and focus better. I reached out to the door, barely touching it with my icy fingers. I pulled it toward me. The door was rusted in, about to creak. Sensing it, I stopped abruptly and removed my hand. The door remained ajar. The martyr turned to the lockers. He took a step closer, then another one. Finally, he completely blocked out the light. Thoughts flashed through my head about what I needed to do as soon as he opened the door. But he suddenly slammed the locker shut so hard I almost bit the tip of my tongue off from all the tension.
I told him to shut the fucking doors. I should make mobs out of them. They're as useless as a bucket of shit.
Damn. I was so nervous I clenched my jaw until my teeth creaked. After roughly pushing the office door open, the martyr left. You managed to avoid a collision with the martyr. Nice one. I'm just great. I mean, if you shut it like impulsively, the door will make a sound and you will be heard. But if you leave it ajar, you will be discovered. I mean, it still remained ajar, but us freezing and not doing shit, it would actually make us appear like hasty, like we would fidget insanely much, and that would make someone hear like some sort of loud noises from the doors, like hello. It took several minutes to stop shaking. My body refused to move from the shock. I looked at the door, expecting someone to enter the room again, but it didn't happen. When I finally allowed myself to relax a little, the window leading outside opened. Jan tried to sneak inside as quietly as possible, but the sharp sound of the wind opening made the martyr hurry back. His heavy footsteps could be heard behind the door. The martyr will notice him. I need to let Jan inside the locker. No, we're not doing this. We're not tapping into dangerous territories with Jan. Give him a sign. I slammed the door and hissed. Jan noticed and opened the adjacent locker, climbing inside a second before the office door opened. Jan appreciated your help. Your friendship has improved. You're welcome, Jan. You're welcome. The martyr stopped in the doorway and looked around. He angrily walked to the window and slammed it shut with force.
I was so fed up, not a damn thing worked properly on this wreck.
Without lingering in the office, he left. We sat in the lockers until dark. No one else came inside. Why are they so scared of those martyrs, though? After getting out, Jan went to the window, then to the door, checking the situation. It was dark. There were almost no lanterns or lights.
That's strange. There's no one here at all. No gods, no martyrs.
I'm actually asking myself how the fuck we were split from the group. Weren't we just together? I got out of the closet and several bags of clothes fell out with me. After examining them, I found things in my size. Can you wait until I change? Jan nodded and turned away. Sailor. Honestly, this is so fucking funny. I like this top here. A pirate, right? No, I could care less. Just a small second. There. It looks a lot cuter. That's it. Nodding, Jan began to search the office. The door began to slowly open and I froze, looking at Jan with alarm. Without turning around, he explained.
There are people, I can tell from the footsteps.
The rest of the squad who'd been hiding in the rooms nearby entered.
Where's your prisoner? It was taken away several hours ago. We didn't have time to track where. Amazing. So it was all in vain.
period, because we allowed that bitch ass to actually take charge.
Depends on whether we find a blueprint of the platform here. I'll ask one last time, do we really need to save the rest of the crew? If you want to keep everyone alive, I won't interfere, but if some people can be left behind... Don't immortals care about us even a little bit?
Why would they care? You don't give a damn about them either, sending them on all those suicide missions.
One more. Identical creatures without names. No, CAIN is right. By saving everyone, we may not save anyone. At the same time, by focusing on much smaller group, our chances increase. But we can't afford to leave people behind, not only because of ethics. At the very least, we have to make it back.
The angel sighed and pressed himself against the wall. He still didn't look so good. He looks fine as fuck. If you're talking about his health condition, again, I can help. Like, I'm ready. My hand is ready. The words CAIN threw at the crew didn't hurt me at all, but his tiredness made me want to go up to him, stand closer, and touch his hand. Finally, this bitch thinking my way. But I held back. This no-good son of a bitch. Like, you've been closer, bitch. I think you gave him... I don't remember. She either gave him a blowjob or a hand job. And they fucking made out. Now all of a sudden you're scared to get close to this man. Are you fucking serious? It wasn't the right time, and I needed to make sure I got off the platform. If you need him to get off the platform, shouldn't you make sure that he's actually fine?
Did you find anything? There's nothing important in the other office.
There are a bunch of maps here, but I didn't have time to look through everything. Plus, there's a Siberia radio on the desk. It was probably left here by the first group Donovan sent.
Let's check everything together. CAIN, Jan, watch the door and the window. Anna, you search the locker, and Simone and I will inspect the desk.
Again, the author trying to get us together. Yo. Anna, who had been opening one drawer after another, suddenly froze.
It's not just the Siberia radio. There's also a bag with documents. What's inside?
I can't make it out, but the documents are new. Some kind of list. It seems to be a summary of Donovan's orders for the first group. She never let me near the papers. This is a good chance to see what's planning and doing with the pace.
Let's take it with us. There is no time to inspect them now.
Dimitri, who had been rummaging through the papers on the desk, finally exhaled.
I think that's it.
Jan came closer, but CAIN remained standing by the door.
I can't see anything.
I have a gem light. Taking a stick out of my backpack, I bent it and handed it to the general. The general moved it along the paper, lighting the diagram, looking for the necessary designation.
We need to find where the lifeboats are stored. I think there are about 4. 2 in one spot and 2 in another. There are about 150 people working on the platform. A standard lifeboat has 50 seats. There should be 3, but sometimes they have a 4th one. Only the management knows its location. Do you see at least 1?
Here on the first floor to the side.
Excellent, well done, Anna.
She lowered her head. I think it was hard for her to accept praise from her brother.
There's something on the locker that will interest you.
You interest me.
That's something a mathematician would know best, but I think that's what was used to signal us.
Kim pointed to an old tape recorder with several wires attached to it, a disassembled radio and some other incomprehensible device. Approaching it, the general covered the speaker with a rag lying nearby and pressed the play button. We heard quite abrupt sounds. We are platform R1. Over, help. The recording went on a second loop and the general stopped it.
I think the captain of our ship isn't the first of all for this trick.
At least the first group sent by Donovan definitely ended up here. But why are the martyrs luring ships here? Ay.
I'm not sure we really need to know.
You don't want to know, trust me. Again, they are lurking ships here so that they can eat the sailors. This is what?
Agreed. Greg and the others should have already started freeing the crew. We can't wait, we need to get down to the boats quickly.
The oldest story is dark. As soon as we went outside, I heard a lullaby. It followed the sound. Am I stupid? Ignore it. Separating from the squad seemed like a bad idea to me. Ignoring the melody, I followed the others. As soon as we moved away from the outbuilding, a heartbreaking scream came from the first floor. The scream repeated and we sped up. The upper flights were empty. There were no lights and no guards.
All the people are gathered below. What the hell is going on here?
That's what I want to know. We slowly descended. CAIN was right. We didn't meet a single person the entire way. The platform was illuminated by the dim light of torches. An uneasy feeling crept upon me.
I think no one would object to going around this crowd. Yes, we'll get to the boats another way. If everyone is focused on the square, we have a better chance of remaining unnoticed.
After climbing over the stair railing, we made our way along the wire lattice by passing the way to the first floor. When we reached the garbage bins, we jumped down. I happened to notice CAIN was still swaying. My man, is there something we can help him with? Reorienting ourselves according to the platform's layout, Dimitri led us through rusty corridors and anxes. After some time, we came to where the boats were supposed to be.
Empty, nothing, only the hooks they were supposed to be hanging from. So someone lowered them down before us, but there is another one in another part of the platform, right?
Dimitri sighed heavily and massaged the bridge of his nose. Me.
That's intact.
Why? The general's fears, which he had been hesitating to voice, had been confirmed. As if he couldn't believe what he was saying, he explained.
The people on the platform are... It's prisoners. They can't get out of here. There haven't been any lifeboats here for a long time. The workers probably used them when they evacuated. The martyrs wanted to make a profit, so they got on the platform but couldn't get out. They were here without food for God knows how long. They lowered ships with a false signal, but for some reason they couldn't leave this place. And they imprison our crew so that
they can eat them. My stomach grumbled symbolically. Remembering the recent screams each member of the squad swallowed, something unpleasant, bestial, and vile surrounded this place. From the passage above us, we suddenly heard the carefree voices of the martyrs. They seemed familiar to me, similar to those who rushed after Noah earlier that day.
He enjoys hearing those screams. Because of them, I always remember how she screamed when he crawled. Come on, you haven't really seen anything. I was standing right next to you.
There was nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. Pushing Anna and me back, CAIN stood in front of us. Well, look at that. He's protecting us and Anna. He probably didn't notice the approach of these two because of his condition. Dimitri and Jan stepped forward. The martyrs stepped down and froze when they saw us. Nasty, satisfied smiles appeared on their faces.
Any other rats? Were they trying to escape?
Dimitri looked at Jan. The men were ready to attack. CAIN came closer to us. It seemed he was preparing to take us away at the slightest sign of danger. CAIN is my man. I don't have to say it every single time, but he is. He is ready to fly away with us, knowing his condition. One of the martyrs pulled out a gun. If a shot is fired, the others will come here. We won't have the advantage of surprise. Suddenly, a familiar voice came again from the darkness. The lulling melody made the martyrs lower their hands and started looking around as if a siren was wailing nearby.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it? I told you it was her. She sang to him too. Everyone's on Tom making fun of us again. That bitch has been dead for a long time.
At that very moment, something dark rushed at the one holding the gun. He dropped it before he could fire. An incomprehensible silhouette sank its teeth into his throat, forcing his friend to back away in fear, period.
What is this? Quiet. We can't take our eyes off them.
Having dealt with one, the shadow flew up to the second one. It pinned him against the wall, and blood began to flow from under his feet. Thank you. Thank you very much, girl.
I knew it was you, that you were alive, that you didn't throw yourself off the platform. Forgive me. No. You can go. I didn't mean to kill him. It was them. They wanted to eat. We all wanted to eat. Oh! They said it was either you or him. You know, no one wanted to die, and he was barely human yet.
Something slashed a worker across the neck. A dark hand pressed into his throat and began to tear the flesh off him. Oh. Seeing the blood spurting from the artery, Anna covered her mouth with her hand and stepped back. I would have covered my eyes, but I get it. The shadow suddenly looked at us. It was hard to make out its outline, but for a second it seemed to me that I could see a female figure in it.
Have mercy.
No. No mercy. You didn't have mercy for us. You were actually letting innocent people come here so that you could eat them. Y'all, first off, disgusting. Second off, they could have actually asked them, like, to take them with them, like, just to, I don't know, to a different place, and then there they could have worked for food or something. Like the hell. The man sputtered blood, pulling him into the darkness after itself. The unknown creature disappeared into the night. Thank you. All that remained on the platform was a red trail and lifeless corpse of one of the martyrs.
What the hell was that?
Not an infected. They don't talk.
And they move differently.
And they don't hide.
The main thing is that they didn't attack us, so we'll deal with it later.
Anna walked forward on trembling legs and picked up the martyr's fallen pistol. Oh!
We need to find the rest of the squad. We need to get out of here and quickly.
But how can we get out of here if there is no boat left? The recent scream they'd heard repeated again. It was impossible to ignore. Something was definitely happening on the platform.
If the crew was taken to the lower floor, then Greg and the others would be somewhere nearby. The stairs down there were in the opposite direction. We'll have to cross the platform to get to them. Stay close. Maybe we can get around the crowd standing in the square.
Oh my god. Returning to the trash bins, we climbed up to the grating to the platform again. We went up to the stairs and out to the containers. In order to avoid being seen by the armed martyrs, Dimitri ordered us to hide behind them. Running from one container to another, we slowly got closer and closer to the crowd surrounded by torches. Several people were being led to the center and put on their knees. One staggered and fell to the floor. A pool of blood spread out under him, and only then did I notice a severed limb lying nearby. A man towered over those kneeling. He held a bloody saw in his hands. Looking at the crowd, he triumphantly raised his head and smiled, saying, "This is in honor of our catch. Today we splurt and you." The martyr let the doctor out of the crowd, treated his wound so that he doesn't die. The martyr raised a saw over the second man. The doctor noticed and suddenly rushed at him, knocking him to the ground. The next moment, a knife was pressed to the daredevil's throat.
With humans like you, we don't need monsters.
Period. God damn it. Like, this is the exact same thing as if I have you as a friend, I don't need enemies.
That was me being kind.
Of course it was.
By the way, we don't really need a doctor.
The martyr nodded to one of his subordinates.
Anna, you can shoot.
She pulled the trigger, then she fired and again and again. Anna didn't try to save bullets, or perhaps she just couldn't control her emotions. Everyone who surrounded the doctor and the martyr fell dead.
Finally, you stuck your head out.
The martyr pushed the trembling doctor off himself and addressed the crowd.
Get all of them and check the amulet. It wasn't for nothing that they gave it to us.
The crowd stared at us. Among the hungry, burning eyes, I suddenly saw Greg and Lester running out to us.
Quick, here.
We rushed after them. Jan and CAIN ran next to me, and Dimitri and Anna stayed behind. She was limping. The general looked like he wanted to pick her up, but she wouldn't let him stop. The martyrs would have caught up with them right away. Anya and Kira suddenly ran out of the crowd. Apparently, at some point, they got separated from the rest of the group. The angel, noticing that Anna was running slower with each step, picked her up easily. Oh God.
They're definitely not human. The amulet. Give me the amulet.
The man running closest to them took an unusual stone out of his pocket.
Damn it.
Uh-oh. Seeing it, CAIN rushed toward the woman. The amulet lit up. The glow passed over Ania, revealing her true nature.
Ogre wasn't lying. They have winged creatures with them.
The man pulled out a pistol with a green flask and pointed it at the angel, but CAIN blocked Ania with his body. Fucking hell no! Let me get in there. Let me get in there. Like, it is deadly for immortals, but I'm not an immortal. The bullet hit the immortal in the shoulder! Fucking hell. She can't even stand up for the man she loves. If the bullet had hit Ania in her current state, she probably would have died. CAIN fell to his knees. Flapping his wings, he forced the first row of martyrs to retreat. The four men stepped forward and smiled greasily.
Everyone has a weak spot.
And my fine-ass man CAIN is mine. You touched him, you die.
We have 2 immortals. If you put down your weapons and hand over the prisoners, we won't touch you. Just so you know, the Sierra won't kill them right away. They're turning you to who dust first. I doubt that we have something to fight with on equal terms. Like what? You've met yourself some powerful enemies. A generous one, fortunately for us.
Who could they be talking about? Is he talking about the first crew sent by Donovan? No, they did. The Order, Nick, and the Cult. I remembered the ship that left the port a little earlier than us, the cultists. But what generosity, and why wasn't their ship harmed? Could the Cult have secured support that would be as powerful as the Immortals? The martyr turned to the crowd.
Release the abominations.
Right. What? A grinding, creaking sound, and then a heart-rending howl of creatures woven from darkness came from below us. They broke through the floor and burst out.
Stay close.
I'm sorry, how the fuck is that even possible that they can actually control abominations? And how the fuck is it possible that abominations don't attack them? The floor began to shake. The spot where the abominations flew out from was gradually collapsing, taking more and more ground with it. Ania grabbed Anna and rushed after Dimitri. CAIN was left lying in the center. He touched her shoulder and tried to get up, but then fell to the ground again. You know, good son of a bitch. In your condition, too. Like, is she fucking serious? I mean, yes, she would have died immediately. Yes, I agree. But she has been saying the entire episode that CAIN wasn't looking good. But she wasn't worried about this man being hit. Like, this is supposed to be harmful only for immortals. We're not immortal. So if we would have actually taken the hit for the immortals, it would have been fine. We wouldn't have died. It's deadly for immortals. Without thinking about anyone else, I rushed to the immortal. Now she's right. Y'all, I fucking can't. She needs to die. Her character is such a piece of God. Like, she waited for this man to actually be on the ground, like, whimpering in pain, like, about to wither away in front of her eyes, instead of actually doing something actively against this man actually being hit in the first place. Bye. CAIN, can you walk?
Run after the squad. Don't stay here. I'll get out somehow.
Fucking hell no. What if they shoot at you again, huh? CAIN said nothing. Shut the fuck up. I don't listen to a bullshit you're saying. I saw Greg and Jan hurrying after us, throwing the angel's arm over my shoulder. I pulled him toward the men, period. The abominations flew overhead. Unfortunately for the martyrs, they attacked everyone indiscriminately. Finally, at least something that makes sense. Panic overran the platform with people running around trying to take cover. The floor was collapsing faster than I could move.
Simona, listen to me and run. I'll come back when I regain my strength.
No, I'm not running away from you. Fucking hell. This man, and he has the fucking audacity to still use, like, his powers. He still has the fucking audacity. Pulling his hand away, CAIN looked at me and pushed me toward Greg. But his last words merged with the roar. The floor beneath our feet shook and we fell below. The fuck? He actually pushed me toward Greg. He pushed me toward Greg in order to sacrifice himself again. I'm gonna kill that no good son of a bitch. The second I get out of here. The second I do. Like, this is gonna be like the scene of The Vampire Diaries season 4 when Damon refused to take the cure. And then he was bitten by a werewolf. He would have died, and if he would have taken the cure, the wound wouldn't have killed him anymore. And he refused to take it. And then Elena walks into this man's bedroom. She asks if he's fine. He says that he's completely healed, and then she smacks the shit out of him. Please, I'm gonna do the exact same thing. The air there smelled of mold and the cloying aroma of rot. Heavy chains lay everywhere and bones littered the ground. Large human. It seemed all their scraps were thrown in there, everything that would decompose or decay. This is their huge trash can. The entire room was filled with tanks of fuel that hadn't been offloaded. It had probably been a warehouse once. One of the tanks had tipped over and a thin stream of fuel was flowing out of it, filling the space with punch and smell. I ran to CAIN. He was lying there exhausted from the injury and still not fully recovered. Let me smack the shit out of this bitch.
Don't go far from me. There is someone else here.
Can you get up? An abomination threw a man down from above. He fell near us and dropped his torch before rolling along the floor and injuring his forehead. Bye, bitch. He was holding a knife with a green ampule tied around his blade. Oh, fucking hell no. That green ampule is what got him into this mess. Still him! We need to get rid of him somewhere before he gets rid of us. CAIN stood up. If the martyr came closer, the immortal would grab him and he couldn't throw the knife far from that far. Realizing that the man bent down and picked up the torch, throwing it at the stream of fuel. Does he want to hide himself in smoke and get a surprise attack on us? Before the flames reached the tank, I managed to hide under CAIN's wing. A thunderous explosion filled the room with fire. I tried not to inhale the suffocating smoke, but soon began to lose consciousness. The walls were suddenly covered in red streaks. I began to hear whispers. The surrounding darkness sucked me in, pushing me toward painful memories. There were worms swarming under my feet. They appeared out of nowhere and were squirming, their black bodies writhing against each other. The sound of chains, nausea, anger, fire incinerating everything. Pain, pain, pain. It was as if I was being forced to relive the terrible moments from the past over and over again. My blood was boiling from the creeping madness, and its hissing formed into words, into a whisper. Suddenly the martyr jumped out of the smoke. At some point he lost his human features and turned into a shadow, a vile haze almost devoid of shape. Covering me, CAIN dodged away. He didn't seem to care about the martyr. He was much more focused on the unknown presence who had been hiding in the shadows all this time. My consciousness drew images, mixing fears with reality. I heard the lullaby again. It began to get closer, but the voice singing it suddenly seemed evil, not belonging to our world. A figure emerged from the suffocating haze that filled the room, the same one that attacked the workers. It dissolved again, and then the lullaby sounded closer.
Humans can be strong. Such devotion is admirable.
The martyr looked around in fear. He pointed the knife at the empty space, trying to get someone, but he kept missing. The lullaby died down.
You forced me to eat. You beat me when I refused, and then you threw me in here. Remember? Did you think I couldn't take it? That I took my own life? No, I swore that I would take revenge. That each of you would end up here just like I did.
That's impossible. There was nothing left of you. Of course! That would happen to no good son of a bitches.
No.
They thought they would get rid of someone for no reason whatsoever. That doesn't matter. They thought that they could just get rid of her like that. A dark shadow passed by. Its figure moved as if it were stepping on broken glass. And its skin was covered with so many scars, it was as if that was all it was made of. Passing me, the creature dropped a thin metal plate. I squeezed it, putting it in my pocket. If it weren't for the flames and my suffocating, I would have seen a human being in that figure, not a monster, a mother grieving for her child. but the smoke made her mutilated body look even more terrifying. When the figure caught up with the man trying to escape, we heard a crunch and a chilling scream. Bye, bitch! The figure dealt with the martyr slowly, torturing his body with a special care. Thank you, girl. I appreciate it, because this bitch actually shot at my man. Perhaps she was repeating everything she had experienced herself. Deserved, the same was same. You don't do to someone that you wouldn't want someone to do to you. There was neither time nor desire to watch the reprisal against the martyr. It seems the figure had finally gotten what she had been waiting for, each of her abusers getting what they deserved. Period. Oh, menace. None of them would survive. None of them would be happy. I coughed. CAIN staggered and lifted his wings. Oh.
We need to get out of here. Hold on tight.
CAIN held me tightly and carefully. Nah, he just wanted to save me. That's my man. What you mean? CAIN held me tightly and carefully. Hold me, baby. Darkness began to thicken around CAIN. It pressed down, not letting him rise. A glow erupted through the fabric on his arm, and he disappeared for a second, but then reappeared. Surprised, I grabbed his hand. No. No. The shock. What's wrong, child? The scarlet light flared up again, but CAIN remained close. I saw how he clenched his teeth tightly, but this time he didn't disappear. Oh, now I remember. In the first season, we were flying with him, and then he was like, please no, not now. And then he disappeared out of thin air. Like, he disappeared. As if he couldn't remain on the earthly plane. And then, I don't know, a few hours later, he appeared again. This time, he was starting to disappear again. And this time, we were like, no, as in holding his hand, like begging for this man not to go. Not because we were scared that we were gonna die, but because we didn't want him to leave. We didn't want him to disappear.
It's okay. I'm not leaving.
Son, you better not leave me. You better not leave me. He almost whispered it. Yeah, he was trying to reassure himself as well. Like, that was him actually having to realize it. Don't worry, I'm not leaving. The thickening fire began to remind me of something. The images appearing in my head seemed familiar. The walls pulsed and the heat burned my skin. You're just an empty shell. Don't you dare forget your place. But that time the voice wasn't addressing me. CAIN raised his head and looked somewhere into the void, his eyes burning with rage. Oh, the voice is talking to him. And the red eyes. Oh my god. Baby, what have you done in your past? I had deja vu. You think? My body was torn apart, and I could only look into the eyes of the angel, which were so familiar and at the same time so distant. I abruptly, unexpectedly said, CAIN, who are you? That's a good question, actually. Who are you? Like, no normal angel disappears. There is no one behaving like you do. Who are you? There is like this huge ass mystery around this man and around his powers. There is a reason why Dimitri keeps on telling him to do all like those atrocities, all those awful things. And Nia and Pylon are also angels / demon. Why does he only go to him? Because he knows that he's the only one that can do it. So he knows about this man's power. Who is he? Like, who was he? He grabbed me, pulling me closer. Regret flashed in his gaze. Who are you? What have you done? Bitter, burning, and painful. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, the drama. You knew me before we met at the Rift, right? If he says it's true. If he says it's true. I heard a lot of people in my comment section being like, yeah, there is this mystery going around. Like, people say that this man knew us before and that's why he keeps on making those illusions about it. How? Suddenly, CAIN stared at me with icy eyes. I instantly regretted asking that question. Why? If he knew us, how? Like, how were we separated? First off. Second off, the audacity this man has to play hot and cold with us when we used to be close. Not because I was scared of his gaze, and not because I was afraid of the answer. It was just that his look made it clear I wouldn't like the truth. If I discovered it, would I be happy? You became closer to CAIN, perhaps even too close. When you get too close to someone that is closed off, then they tend to push you away because they're scared of that you're not gonna like what's hiding behind that wall of mystery.
Close your eyes. The air will send sparks flying.
Oh my god, and of course, the fine-ass man he is. Am I surprised? No, I'm not. Y'all, he's looking so fine. He's looking so fucking fine. The fire was getting closer, taking over the room, inch by inch. Following his advice and moving closer to him, I closed my eyes. He gently wrapped his arm around my waist, flapped his wings, and took off. Puffs of smoke rushed after us as if trying to catch us and drag us back into the inferno. The sparks scorched the very tips of CAIN's wings, but he seemed not to notice. After a few more flaps, he pulled us out of the fire and lifted us up to the rest of the squad. The fire had spread to the platform and everything was engulfed in flames. CAIN flew to a safe distance, barely managing to escape, and immediately ran up to us. From her pocket, she took out a case, which she started to always carry. She injected the serum into CAIN's shoulder. The abominations flew over us. The squad dealt with them and with anyone who wanted to push us away from the safe area. The crew moved closer and closer to the edge of the platform, trying to get away from the fire. I didn't see where the rest of the squad was. Each of them was protecting others and defending themselves. That's all I was sure of. The fire began to get closer. Anna and I held on to CAIN, trying to make him move faster. Once he had dragged and shielded us from a blizzard. Flying one of the smoke, suddenly an abomination attacked us. Demon Hunter? I didn't have time to react as the Demon Hunter appeared in front of us, grabbing the abomination's horns. He broke its neck in flight, and it fell next to us dead. Dang. The chill from his carcass crept toward us, and Anna and I crawled farther, dragging CAIN away. The hunter didn't pay attention to us. Almost immediately, he jumped to the side and then disappeared into the smoke. I'm sorry, this is so fucking interesting. Where did he come from? No idea. Is that really the same one? The mask clothes are different. Do you think any other humans have such power? Flickering in the smoke, the hunter dealt with another abomination. After appearing out of nowhere, he was killing the abominations almost playfully. 1, 2, 3. There were fewer and fewer of them. The general and Greg found Anna and me. CAIN was back on his feet, but still unsteady. Almost mesmerized, Dimitri watched the movements of the man in the cloak.
It was him after all.
The rest of the squad, taking advantage of the fact that someone else was busy with the creatures, finally gathered the entire surviving crew. Many were wounded, and we had lost some. Just then, one of the abominations pushed off from the tower. Its claws tore the thin supports and it bent. The cables running to the edge of the platform began to snap. Unable to withstand the weight, the tower fell onto the platform, breaking it in half. We were cut off from the section engulfed in flames. The martyrs, most of whom remained there, tried to jump to the surviving part, but they fell into the water, crashing into the waves.
Hurry, we need to move farther away from the crack.
I remembered the metal plaque in my pocket. Taking it out, I looked at the inscription. I hope this place wasn't in the part that was cut off from us. We watched the other half of the platform sink, and I frantically ran my eyes over the sector numbers. The one I needed didn't catch my eye. General, do you still have the blueprints? Where would this place be? Without asking unnecessary questions, Dimitri took out a crumpled piece of paper and examined the map.
On the lower floor below us. But there shouldn't be anything there except old equipment. Why do you need it?
We need to get there, I was told. The general looked at me expectantly, then he pursed his lips and nodded. Just then Kira screamed, the hunter who had protected her, but he was wounded in the thigh by an abomination. Merging into one dark silhouette, they flew down, disappearing from sight. I watched Kira run toward the edge. She darted after them, running to where the hunter should have fallen. Kira disappeared for just a minute and then reappeared. Catching up with us, she said, there was only blood and the torn wings of the abomination. When I got to the edge, I only managed to see the hunter fall into the water. Don't think about him now. Pull yourself together, Kira. We need to save ourselves and get out of here. The general gathered the squad together, and Greg, looking at the map, began to make his way through the labyrinth of sectors and axes. Figuring out how to get to the right place, he led us forward. So the hunter was with us on the ship from the very beginning. I looked at everyone nearby. Of course, I didn't know the entire crew, and the hunter could have been anyone, but it was worth checking. Dimitri and Greg walked ahead of the rest. Kira, Anna, and Lester trailed behind. The immortals cleared a path for us through the wreckage. A breathless Jan appeared from behind. He brought the doctor and Hans with him, helping them keep up with the squad. It seems almost everyone is safe. Almost. Where's Noah? Did they catch him? As soon as I thought about him, he came out to meet us. Noah was swaying on his feet from exhaustion. Lester caught him, not letting the soldier fall. I sat under the rafters for who knows how long. You can tell me about your exploits later. We walked on, going down some stairs. We found a passage to the necessary sector. The sign had been torn off, the one that I was holding in my hand. Pushing open the heavy iron door, we entered. In the center of the huge room, half filled with empty tanks, stood an old lifeboat hidden from prying eyes. The next day, the morning, the fire on the platform finally died out. The collapsed part went underwater, taking with the almost all the mortars. We took care to finish off the rest. Their screams and groans combined into an annoying noise. Their tears didn't touch my heart, and the monotonous oaths and promises filled me with boredom. Closer to midday, when CAIN and Ania were able to transfer the boat to the water, Pylon returned. It turned out land wasn't as far away as it seemed. The fog began to disperse little by little, as if after the victory over evil, the curse haunting this enchanted place was dissipated. We saw a semicircular trail around the platform. It was made of corroded metal and seemed to go deep under the water. Now it's clear why the ships that came to the rescue sank. No one could get out here. And when they got in, they were stuck. Descending one by one down a dangling rope, the members of the surviving crew took their places in the lifeboat. Then we went down too. Sitting closer to the squad, I tucked my legs under myself and leaned back on the side of the boat. We're all leaving the platform alive. At least something. The boat drifted along the waves. The sea was surprisingly calm that day. Everything was peaceful. Anna, who had been dozing next to me on the Siberia back the whole time, opened her eyes and stretched. She sat up and looked around. Have you been awake all this time? I don't feel like sleeping. Anna sat up, tucking her leg under her. I can't believe we got out of there. Anna glanced at the bag lying next to her. Opening it, she buried herself in the documents. At first, she leafed through them lazily, barely reading the boring data. Then she suddenly tensed up, brought the sheets closer, flipped back a few pages, and reread what was written again. What's there? That's strange. Donovan ordered stuff to be brought that we don't use. A machine for lung ventilation, for blood supply. I've never heard of the base needing that. We don't even have qualified medics. Besides, Donovan had never hidden anything from the squad, and she sent this group without us knowing. Maybe she's not giving out all the information so she can run at him single-handedly. Would make sense. Donovan doesn't seem like the type to share. It's in her interest to hide something important, even from you, even though there may not be anything more to it. Yes, you might think so. But I've known Donovan my whole life, and believe me, she definitely wanted to hide it. If we hadn't stumbled upon this platform, I don't think I would have ever known what we had these devices. But why would she need them? Good question. Anna sat closer and I looked at the documents. The experiments on the patient are going smoothly. He still hasn't regained consciousness, but he does respond to impulses. His ability to regenerate is weak, but has increased. Thanks to his body, we were able to create an antidote. These are old audio transcriptions made back at Siberia. I think Donovan took them when she left the base. We're talking about an immortal here, right? Yes, and it seems like it's about a specific one. Oh God, I never thought this actually would be a thing. But could it be? Like, we thought about or man CAIN actually being like trapped there, and that's how they actually got to know one another, as in our character and CAIN. But could this be a thing? Maybe CAIN isn't an immortal at all. Like, he was a test object. Maybe they injected him with angel blood, with demon blood, and they sort of turned him into a mixture of like human / immortal. Like, he has wings and everything, like that huge ass strength, but he doesn't have immortal powers because he's not really one. They experimented on him. Then the devices are needed for... Well, let's not jump to conclusions. She suddenly fell silent after looking behind me. I turned around trying to figure out what had caught her attention. The fog cleared and a flooded city appeared ahead, consisting of nothing more than a series of fallen skyscrapers. Look, we've arrived in New York. What? That's how we arrive in New York? New York being drowned. It being drowned. This is not good, but hey, what can I tell you? This was it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.